Good morning.
The last day of 2020, a year that has,
Thank goodness.
yeah, thank goodness, that has been a year that has received more curses than blessings. That's for sure. And we are up to Psalm 77. I think,
Blessings and curses.
yeah, blessings and curses. These
You
are
get that right, sister.
something Torah is really good at. We also this week finish the book of Genesis. We finish this book that is our family story, Genesis. It's a closed portion, Vayechi. It talks about, the life, right,
Yeah.
of Jacob, even though it really is about his death,
Oh.
right? And
Yep.
and it is, it's fitting, I think, that this year ends with this very personal book of Genesis, and 2021 brings us into, the liberation theology of Exodus, of a book that has given inspiration to so many people. And I think this psalm is also a good way to end 2020, this awful year.
Great.
Yeah, because
I sure learned a lot.
yeah, the thing I loved about this psalm is this reference to Jacob and Israel, that we are both. It's we that, go back and forth between the personal and the political. We go back and forth between being imperfect, right, and being Israel. But God doesn't change. Whatever godliness is, whatever that source of inspiration, that soul of the soul is, that doesn't change. It's we that change. And I think that should give us hope, because we can change, right?
Some other things I like about the psalm is psalmist and the psalms. Somebody asked me, I said, you get a vision of the character of the psalmist in your approach? And I said, oh yeah.
Good question.
And,
yeah. I think there's a lot of different psalmists, though, right?
Well, yeah, but
who put them together, maybe.
Yeah, I looked at it as like I didn't know anything.
Okay.
Like I came to without any background.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and say, who's the force behind this? What's the consciousness behind this? And I loved the willingness to go after the opposition, to identify you are the opposition, external, and then to come internal and saying, but also our work is internal. And the opposition is responsible for part of that, for us to purify the residue of that kind of trauma from the opposition. But there's also the internal work, in addition to that purification, to lift to a higher standard, more light, a higher light. And I loved that. And it's almost in every psalm.
It is.
Yeah. There's a willingness to take on the enemy, and also
because the enemy is real.
The necessity to go inward and to purify and cleanse. And
because the outward will not change unless we do that. I
found that so
beautiful,
real, so bright, so bright. Let's get into it, sister.
I agree. So we've embraced the custom not only of offering the Psalms for healing, which is what we do. We read Psalms when we need healing of the body and the spirit, but we've also added a Mishaberach, calling upon the ancestors and the angels to pray for healing.
We use healing as not curing. We use healing in the sense of prayer of integration, of reaching for our deepest feeling.
But certainly for those who have COVID,
being present.
To know what to do.
To expand the consciousness field to include others in the most compassionate way. There's a line in here. Is it in today's song? Yesterday's. Don't end compassion. I feel compassion being taken away.
No.
Oh my God.
That would be the worst thing. Remember, the root of compassion is Rechem.
We have to take care of each other now.
Right. Rechem, the womb. So healing for Jack, for Sam, for Corinne, who's back in the hospital and her baby.
Steve in Buffalo over his loss.
Yeah, for our friend Steve, who lost his brother. For Deborah's sister Amy, for Louis Kidder, who is off the respirator and getting stronger, is the last thing I heard. We pray for you. And, for all those who have been, for my friend Lou Meyer, his nieces and nephews surrounding him. There's so many people that we need to hold in our hearts right now, suffering from COVID and cancer and other diseases we cannot cure. For my friend Amy, let's offer this Misha Berach, this healing prayer, a shout out to the universe.
Healing of the spirit, healing of the body, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. Healing of the spirit, healing of the body, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. For those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael. On my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, the angel Raphael. And above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head, oh Susie Shekhinah Dale. Michael, who is like God, Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, God is my light. Raphael, God is my healer. And above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head. Ooh, Shekhinah Dale. Above my head. Ooh, Shekhinah Dale. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, great healer. Amen.
Amen. Amen. A prayer for learning. May our learning help us finish this year, this secular year.
Maybe try not to use the Jessup too much.
We won't use the Jessup. I am praying for a better year, though.
For a better year.
And we'll keep the learning going.
Keep the learning going.
Carry us through.
Carry us through.
Pushing us to be better, smarter.
Smarter, smarter, smarter. וערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו. O God, make the words of your teaching pleasant on our lips. The lips of all of those that come into our windows. So we can spend a time in learning for its own sake and for the purity of it, and also for its implications in our lives. כולנו יודעים שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני. Blessed are you who teaches in this fashion. Amen. Blessed are you who teaches in this fashion and allows us to eavesdrop.
Right.
Amen.
Nice. Thank you. So, Psalm 77.
77.
To the one who grants victory.
Amen.
you know, concerning the what is in
Yeah.
God's hands, right?
Asaf.
And we're back to Asaf. We have our friend Asaf
Although
a little bit more,
this
right?
other one too. This is curious. This other.
When I lift my voice to God and I cry, my voice will reach God and I will be heard, like Hagar, right? When she cried out for the sake of her child.
It's
And what brought God into the story, right? What brings God into the story of the Exodus that we are about to enter into? It is the groaning of
at the end of chapter 2 in Exodus. Heard the groaning, the crying, the sighing.
Draws God into the story, right? So why wouldn't we be heard with our suffering?
It's sound of pain, that groan in our voice.
Yeah, that too is a kind of music, right?
Brings God into
this is all about the music.
Returns God, draws God back into the story.
Right. So verse 3, Bayom, here it is.
Sarati. My
cry,
Darashti.
The day of my trouble, my suffering.
I love this word. Use Darashti with this. I'm inquiring about it. I'm entering into it. I'm
drushing it. I'm really.
I'm getting inside it.
Yeah. And it's not just getting inside of it, but it's also what are you adding to it? What right? What are you pulling out, but also, transforming because it's yours.
Yeah.
But my hand, but my hand melted away into the night without ceasing. Therefore, my soul right now will not be comforted. My hand melts away into the night. My reaching, it's me though. We're going to learn God is constant. Whatever God is, that moral center, that moral
is kara.
Right? When I wish to reflect on God, I become agitated.
I'm remembering.
Right? When I remember, I do become agitated. If I desire to meditate, my spirit. Yeah, what is that?
Wrapped up, enclosed. My spirit's wrapped up.
It's stuck, right?
I don't know.
Maybe wrapped up.
Wrapped up. I'm enclosed.
I invoke God in moaning. I beseech, and my spirit fails. He says here, right?
Every translation and active interpretation.
Selah. But we got a Selah here. Yeah, I kind of feel that when in my moaning, even though so even when I'm losing faith, right? I'm suffering. It's not up to me to keep godliness going, right?
You know that song? In the evening I am moaning, Selah.
Oh, here it goes.
My soul enwrapped in the evening, Selah.
That's it.
The evening I am moaning, Selah.
So you can moan all you want, and your spirit can fail you, but don't think that it's because God's gone.
God held on.
God holds on. You held fast the guards of my eyes, right? My eyelids.
I'm troubled. I can't talk.
I was as if I had been crushed and I was unable to speak.
Below the bear.
Yeah. So the spirit, everything is failing.
Right? I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it.
Here we are, Jacob.
For days.
Then I pondered the days of antiquity, years of ancient ruins. So I remembered. I tried to remember.
I don't use the word ponder.
I pondered.
I don't use that word.
You don't use it?
Nah.
You don't like ponder?
I don't like ponder.
6.
But I thought
my thoughts are of days of old, he says here, on years long past. Okay, so now I'm going to remember.
I really thought about it.
When God did enter the story, right? When God got drawn into the story. I recalled the song of my oud. The
my
song,
oud song.
Right? In a night such as this, I conversed with my heart, and my mind began to brood.
Yeah. My spirit
mind.
found me.
Yep. It's searched because it's kind of remembering other times that I've felt like this, or other people have felt like this. The psalmist says always, I'm not alone. I won't be the first or the last to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? That's what the Psalms do. They tell us we're not the first ones that have these doubts, right? These thoughts, this suffering. Verse 8, has my master cast me off for all time? Will God be favorable no more? No. Is God's this is what you're referring to, I think.
I love the
is
questions.
God's loving yeah, these are questions.
These are
is
questions.
God's loving kindness at an end forever?
Yeah.
Right?
Like he's in a real dark
Has
place.
God
here.
laid down the decree for generation upon generation?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
God done? Has God ceased to grant favor and in anger shut off God's compassion?
Rachamav, that's it.
There we go. Okay.
Is
it done?
compassion gone?
Does it feel like that? Kind of 2020.
Hello.
Kind of feels like that, doesn't it?
Well, let's not talk about. Let's go.
Okay. So other people have felt like there was no hope, But verse 11. Then I said, my doubts,
my profanity.
Profanity.
I changed my profanity. I did that this morning, by the way.
I saw that.
I
this
wrote
is in the change
a rant,
in
and
the
I
right
can't
hand.
stand rants, and I changed.
Right,
I said,
changed it.
Can't. That's it. No more rants.
You made it. It was still a rant, but you made it really short.
Short.
Right. This is the change in the right hand of the Most High. Okay. So
there we go.
Here we go. I'm going to remember.
Let's get him.
I am going to remember the acts.
Remember those wonders of
that
long
have been
ago,
wondrous
from
right?
the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, if they happen, then they can happen again. And I will ponder the totality of your work.
Meditate on.
I will
meditate
on.
Hege. Right? He loves that word, hege.
Yeah.
The hegiti. Thought about it, meditated on it.
The totality of your work and meditate, right? Meditate
Asicha.
on.
He loves that word too. Asicha, siach.
So we're going to get a taste of Israel here,
Dialoguing.
The big picture, right?
He's dialoguing with the mechanism of mind.
Yeah, beautiful.
Elohim Bakodesh.
Verse 14. God, your way is in holiness.
Mi'el Gadol Ke'elim. Who's a God is great?
There's nothing as powerful as whatever this thing, what we call God is. So here's the pivot.
This is, also taken off of Song at the Sea.
Right.
There's a lot of the same language.
Right.
You are
the power, you the worker of wonders, you have made known to the nations thy invincible might. Right.
Right. Puppy.
Right. Call me Zarua. Don't go there. Okay. Verse 16. You have redeemed these people with an outstretched arm.
Yeah, baby.
The sons of Jacob
and
Joseph, the imperfect
people
of the imperfect.
I love this. The waters
Jacob and Joseph. That's okay.
The waters.
There is still compassion for us, even though we are the imperfect people of Jacob.
Now we go back to the epic
Joseph.
form.
Selah. Okay.
We invoke the elements. The waters saw you.
But that's where we find ourselves. In those waters.
And the depths, the deep, the darkness, the deep. Trembled.
The waters held you and became not afraid, right? But the waters trembled, the floods trembled at the awe of godliness. Something bigger than nature, something outside of nature, right? Not outside of nature, bigger, right? Holding it, right?
Over the deep.
Clouds
even the deep trembled,
water,
and the clouds watered.
The high places sounded forth, and your arrows Oh,
They went out.
yeah.
Kol
The
ra'amcha,
clouds streamed with water. Their skies gave forth thundering noise.
the
Your
voice of
very
your
arrows
thunder.
flashed lightning
Bagal
continually.
gal.
Verse 19.
In a round, like maybe this is like a whirlwind that
Yes,
goes around. Your
Cool.
thunder was like a kol ra'amcha bagalgal in roundness.
Mm.
Ha'iru.
Yeah, it says here, the noise of your thunder rumbled like a chariot wheel. Nice,
More
huh?
like a wheel, maybe galgal. Yeah,
Like a
something
chariot
round.
wheel. Right, like a chariot wheel. Mhm.
Ha'iru v'rakim, lightning.
The bolts of lightning lit the world. The earth trembled and quaked.
Kirash ha'aretz bayam.
Verse 20.
And the way
Your
was through the
path.
sea, man.
The path.
But
the
here,
path,
wait a minute,
the
there's a
path
distinction here. There's a
went through the
path,
sea.
and then there's a shvil,
Straight way.
a little small way. The
Mm.
shvil b'mayim rabim, in great waters. There's a pathway, and then the way gets narrower. And your footsteps, and when it's really narrow, your footsteps not known. You're not known. You're really sneaking through here. Nachita.
Verse 20.
Oh, I love this.
Right. This is the last. So, remember a moment ago, we were Jacob and Joseph, the imperfect, that really we watched them grow up. We watched them become better people. But here we're going to end. We're going to end with two brothers who,
Nachita katsona mecha.
yeah, were really
You led us. How did you lead
continue
us?
to be a model for us. You have led your people like a flock.
Like a flock.
By the hand of Moses and Aaron, leading us through that wilderness, right? That complicated but also ownerless place that delivered us.
I'm good with being a flock.
To Torah. You like being a flock?
Oh yeah, man. I'm so
part
into
of a
being.
flock?
Oh yeah, I'm a flock. I'm in a flock.
We are in a flock, I guess. We have to remember that now.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling thunder. Your leadership, universal and particular, a song. My voice for God, the cry in my voice, listening of me. My troubles by day, I tried to explain, my hand flowing into night, my soul refusing to be comforted. When I think about God, I am agitated, wrapped up in my spirit. So it is. You protected my eyes. I was stunned and unable to speak. I thought about days before, years of long ago. I remembered my oud song of night. I dialogued with my heart. My spirit found me. Have you left me behind? Will you be pleasing anymore? Is loving kindness at an end? Did it end forever? Has God forgotten favors and anger shut down compassion? So it is. And I said, this, the change, my profanity, right hand, the highest. I will remember acts of God from the beginning. I will meditate, commune with your wonders. Oh God, your way is holiness. Where is there a great power like God? You are God doing wonders. Announce to the nations, you redeemed with an arm your people, children of Joseph and Jacob. Selah.
Beautiful.
The waters saw you. Oh God, the waters saw you. They trembled, became agitated. The deep flowing waters, voices sounding arrows, voice of rolling thunder, lightning, earth trembling, quaking, your walkway through the sea, footpath through waters, mighty waters, footsteps not known. The hand of Moses and Aaron, you led your people like a flock. After Psalm 77, December 31st, 2020, thank goodness.
I love that.
Tehillim
On
and the ceiling.
Psalm 77, a good way to end 2020. It really is. And, we are, again, as we said, starting the book of ending the book of Genesis. And, as we go into 2021, we will be starting the book of Exodus. And this very last line is, Hirsch asks, so what was the purpose of extraordinary world-shaking acts of God? Like the plagues, right? Like on that side, and also like the parting of the water, all of these rolling thunder moments. And his answer is, it paves way for leadership. It paves way for the leadership of your people at the hands of Moses and Aaron. And that is,
Yeah, I mean,
it's how it's explained in Torah, right?
It's one response.
Mm-hmm.
The other response is, it paves the way for leadership because it exposes our empty core, the necessity for a brighter light to be lit.
Mm-hmm. But not to think that it hasn't been there all the time. It's just sometimes we get a little lost. And that's why we would even ask the question that you referred to before. Is loving kindness, is compassion gone? And the answer is no. As long as there's life.
But you recognize that the psalmist always begins by, this is what you did. This is what happened. This is our descent before the ascent.
Yeah.
And the ascent here, the way through, there is a way through. It may not be as wide as we think, but there's a way through. It becomes a footpath.
Just a narrow bridge.
In this psalm, it becomes a footpath. But there's a way through.
Right. Gesher Tzar Ma'od. Maybe a narrow bridge, but it's there. So, dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this psalm as much as we did. Psalm 77. And we hope everybody has a peaceful, safe evening together. In whatever way it is safe to be together, to end 2020 and enter into 2021. This funny way that we count years. And we will be back tomorrow morning, won't we?
We will be back tomorrow morning, won't we?
Right.
The question is, won't we?
I hope
we'll be back tomorrow morning,
Inshallah.
Won't we?
Inshallah.
We're ending each declaration with, won't we?
Won't we?
That may be the meaning of Selah.
Selah?
Won't
it's a
we?
question. It's a question.
Won't
and then
we?
It'll be Shabbat again. And then we'll have another Shabbos. Another Shabbat.
Won't we? Won't we?
Counting our weeks by the
Won't
gift of
we?
time that Shabbat gives us.
Won't we?
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back.